Islam, Sheikh Arrington-Bey, Islam. It is March the 30th, 2022. Islam, getting off work. It's about 4:15 p.m. So this is my day today. I felt 4 sharp pains in my inner ear for hours, and in my like right here in my side. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm Rhonda Arrington-Bey, your wife. The first time I experienced 4 sharp pains was at Burger King as I was earning money. It was a few months after I came to Annapolis, and I never experienced anything before like that in my life. And also, I didn't know the depths of being among a telepathic world. So I'm not saying accusing one individually of having the telepathic code, but I didn't. When I first came here, I did not know the depths of being among a telepathic world. Islam. So, what would be the reason for someone to send a 4 sharp pain, an unclean spirit, and if they are telepathic, they know you don't know? What would be that reason? So if they had the telepathic code and they know you don't know, what would be their reason for sending any 4 sharp pains? A lot of those that had the 4 sharp telepathic code, they come from generations and generations that have had the telepathic code, and that was used by corrupt hospitals and medical centers to cause people to get sick and have to go to the doctor. And so as they gradually started to distribute the telepathic code with different animal strands, when they start gradually doing that, like dog strand and so forth, you can tell a difference because my Moorish American nation, you can tell a huge difference in how some will act. So when they gradually start doing that, that's when they start to normalize and create. You can tell create a different world, as if they wanted people to evolve for the betterment of their lives, and then they gave it to the kids. For example, I can pretty much say I'm pretty sure there are many that came from other countries that came over here, because usually when they start to experiment, they experiment in other countries first, and then they do it here. That's why you have people like me who don't have the telepathic code. But if you go somewhere like Mexico, everybody got the telepathic code. You go somewhere like South and Central America, everyone has a telepathic code. And they had it for years. They had generations and generations with the telepathic code. India, they had generations and generations of families that had the telepathic code. And so they were coming over here to this landmass with the telepathic code, being among those who didn't know it exists. Because I didn't know until 2016. So if you didn't, so like they started to do other experiments, or they did other experiments first in other countries, like or continents, countries in Africa, and then they say, okay, this is just a thought. We'll make a deal with your government. You come to this landmass, and you are able to be naturalized, send money back, and plus cause people to be sick and mentally unstable. And they don't know and trust, and so those people over there in that landmass, they have no idea. They don't know about the telepathic code yet. So this is a deal I'll make with you, your government, to allow you to come over use this ability to attack their children, sexually molest, whatever. And then so send sharp pains, cause mental confusion with the children, send sharp pains to pregnant women in their bellies, attack the fetuses in the belly, and this is all in connection. So this is just a thought. And so what they would have to do, those people in that landmass who don't know about it, they're going to have to go to the hospital. They're going to have to have insurance if they have heart attacks. If they're eating food that doesn't correlate to the chemistry of their body, then that will enhance what's going on. And so the medical centers that know about it, that are corrupt, there are two types. There's medical centers that are for healing, and they didn't know about it, and they would never be a part of such things. And there are medical centers that knew. And so the pharmaceutical companies, these are thoughts, they made a lot of money. They made a lot of money in these years, because I'm one of the ones who don't have the telepathic code. But I bet in places like the continent of Africa, probably almost all of them have the telepathic code and have had it for a long time. So if I'm one of the ones who don't have the telepathic code, Imani Great Bay as well, it lets me know that we were one of the last to have it distributed. And all the while, it existed for years and years and years, and people were getting sick and had no idea about it. But the corrupt banks, the hospitals knew, and they made a lot of money. And so, if you're a foreigner and you have accepted a deal, a government, to allow your people to come over, not only to a place where you can make money and you send it back to your country, where that money is worth more. So if you take the dollar bill, even though like in the 80s, the 70s, the 80s, and you send it to Mexico, different countries of Africa, those people were living well. They were living well. Hold on. So place in Africa, South and Central America, those that come from like places like Pakistan, India. So what I think about is like, when they were, so just to show, what I'm demonstrating is how much a government does not love the people. And then when they gave the code, they gave out different strands. And then they say, okay, well, now it's time to let everybody know about it, but they can't speak about it. And we're going to also put it in the fetuses of the children. because we're going to help them evolve. We're going to put the telepathic code, this is just a thought, in chicken, in the birds, in the lions, in the tigers. So that in the dogs and the cats. This is a thought. This is just a thought. So when you kill a pig, that pig, normally a pig might not know it's getting ready to be slaughtered. But with the telepathic code, that pig knows. So the pig, the chicken, or other beasts that has it, I'm not saying they do, this is a thought, have fear and have a human intellect of fear before the slaughter happens. And that energy is in the slaughter. So anyway, those are my thoughts today. It's wonderful to have thoughts and be able to voice my thoughts without a sense of constitutional law. But these are definitely thoughts. You know, thoughts come in and out. When people study thoughts, they say there is a wavelength of thoughts that are carried from people to people to people. So some of the thoughts I experience, I definitely speak about. I'm walking now, so to the room, and I'm going to go by Whole Foods to upload. So once again, I experienced 4 sharp pains like a few months after I came to Annapolis. We're earning money at Burger King. A pale-skinned lady with a Navy One on her Navy One, which implies she was connected to the Navy, the military. License plate had Navy One on her license plate. She would drive with the American flags on both sides, one on each side. One day, as I was serving her, she used to sit at the regular table with predominantly black males that implied to be connected to the military as well, the Army and Navy. I felt the 4 sharp pain in my right temporal. So I could have experienced pains before, like my son Abbas. He used to have pains in his heart, but I had no idea why, and the doctors never diagnosed him. They couldn't understand why they kept telling me they didn't know why he was having pains in his chest around his heart. And then one doctor said, "Stop arguing with your mom." That was his that was his thought. He said, "Stop arguing with your mom." So anyway, as I was serving the pale-skinned lady here in Annapolis a few months after coming here in 2016, I I felt a force sharp pain in my temporal, and she either said, I think she said, paid y'all, or she paid, or something like that. And I think it was paid y'all. I don't have the documentation. I said it so many times to try to remember it. I gave testimony about this. So I know me experiencing force sharp pains is unnatural, but when and it is not normal. But when you being among unclean spirits that I know we are among, and they are in a world of a government that is trying to normalize acts of terrorism. They're trying to normalize acts of terrorism because if they normalize small acts of terrorism, then what they're doing is justifying. They're preparing the population to justify something else. So first it starts off with small acts of terrorism that you notice, or small unlawful unconstitutional acts. No one say nothing. They just happy to be okay. Then they don't realize the reason behind it. Just like there was a reason why those that came over here 60 years ago from other countries that had the telepathic code, and we didn't know about that. We didn't know that it exists. But they knew because they had it. They came over here and they were able to send money back. And some of them worked for the pharmaceutical companies and the corrupt hospitals, sending force sharp pains to people who didn't know on this landmass and causing illnesses, chaos, and other forms of harm. Spreading diseases and viruses as well. So there's always a reason behind it than what people think. This is on my path to work. I mean, on my path back to the room. I'm leaving work. So there's another car accident. This one guy, Sheet Dwayne Baffin Bay, was talking about freedom and how the erosion, when you start allowing the erosion of freedom to happen, when you start allowing the erosion of freedom to happen, he was giving a description of a trickle effect. Freedom is constitutional law, and freedom, the spirit of freedom, is connected to natural laws. Natural laws of the earth and the universe. So where I just walked from is where that guy had the dog. So what the guy was saying, there's a trickle effect that will happen where you yourself it will be hard for you to stand on those on that energy or that natural law of freedom. When you start to allow the erosion of freedom or in constitutional laws. So now what we among in thoughts, this is another thought, those that have different strands of the telepathic code that can be activated. They can be activated. Not only that, they can control, some of them are humanoid robots that can control technology. And so if you do not respect freedom or natural laws of the earth and the universe, constitutional laws, and you have abilities to cause harm and subjugate someone for whatever reason, maybe you want to rape them, have sex with them, whatever reason, you want part of their mind, you want to possess them, whatever reason it may be, now that spirit of freedom, what can stop it? was amazing or interesting to hear so many, I always say African Americans in Annapolis speak the word I paid. And look at me as a Moorish woman, a Moorish American woman. They'll say I paid, we paid, and look at me, man, or they'll say brother paid or something like that. Even though they're under the status of African American, a lot of them, they were taught in history books about slavery and so forth when they were in school. So when you have those that don't respect constitutional laws or natural laws of the earth and the universe, and they are giving some form of extra ability, what will stop them from being tyrants, for doing things that are so horrendous, acts of terrorism, so bad? What will stop them? What can stop them is when those that have a higher thought continue to implement natural laws with no treaty. No treaty. When you demonstrate a treaty with something that's unclean, when you demonstrate a form of treaty with something that's unclean, you are giving permission for it to exist. Something that's unclean and unnatural. Not only that, abusive, violent, and everything that harms. You are giving permission for it to exist. The implementation of constitutional laws is powerful on a mass scale. Naturalization under the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, which was ratified November the 18th, 1865 with Section 19, saying all men are free. That organic instrument is powerful. It's powerful, and on a mass scale would definitely make a change. So why are they not doing it? I bet the car accidents in Annapolis would stop. You might have some every once in a while, but not like I have seen them. Like it's like out of nowhere. Islam. So it's March the 30th, 2022.